Welcome back guys to the tutorial of C++ programming language, and in the last tutorial we talked about standard input and output, and we have seen what are variables also. So in this tutorial I'm going to talk about the variable scope. Okay, what is a variable scope? We will see that. Firstly, you have to understand there are two scopes of a variable. One is a global and another one is a local. What does it means is global is basically a variable which is for complete of the program, whereas local is a variable which is created inside a function and it dies inside a function, whereas global variables are created outside any function, and they ends when the program ends. So, and how they work, let's just see this. Okay, if I say there is an int a, okay, so a is a variable of integer type, and I put make a as 10, right, and I print this a into the output, and I build and run this, and you can see this, it will be printing 10 right here. Okay, now this is a variable which is created inside the main function. Okay, and when the main function ends, all right, the a ends, the value of a cannot be determined after the main function ends. All right, so let me just create another variable of a here, and I say a is 20 over here. Okay, now what happens is the value of a is 20 here, the value of a is 10 over here. Now what happens is when I see out a over here, then what happens is this will correspond to the local variable first. It means it will still be printing 10. Okay, let me just run this, and you can see this, it still prints 10. But if I don't do this, okay, and I just declare a variable int, let me just let me just not creating a variable int a, and let me just build and run this. You can see this, there is a global variable, this is a global variable. Okay, let me just do it. Sorry, global variable. Okay, you can see this, it's a global variable, and if I build and run this, you can see this, it prints 20 into the output screen. Now if it has if this main function have another variable as a, okay, and nothing is done, if I don't initialize or don't do anything, what happens is it will print this garbage value. Okay, because when you create this integer a garbage value is assigned to this a. It means the a is assigned as a garbage value. But if you put it as 671, that is 671, then a will be printing 671. So what is this? This is basically a local variable. Local variable. Okay, and if I build and run this, you can see this, it will print 671. So what happens here in the variable scope is when you create a global variable, if that function if that particular value is used in any of the function, that global variable, if it is used in any of the function, not only main but any function that I created or you created, if it is used into that function and there is no variable of that particular name is declared or initialized at in that main function, then this global variable's value is used. Just like this is a global variable which is initialized and declared here, and I'm using this here. Okay, and it will print 20, it is because it's a global variable. right? So if you want to create a variable int a is 10, okay, then you know that it will be printing a, because it will take a local value first before then global value. But if I use this, okay, then what's gonna happen is it's gonna print 20. This is a global variable scope. There's two colons, okay. If you use in front of any variable at this in using that variable, it will be referring to this variable. If you just do this, then it will be just referring to the local variable, which is a as 10. Okay. Well, we don't have used or we just haven't learned about the functions, but for example, if there is another function which do something like there is a function of add over here, okay, and I am not using that function, I am not creating, we will talk about function later, but just to understand this, if I have created this function add and I use this value a over here in doing something, okay, if I use over here, then what happens is this global variable will be used. If I initialize that value, then it will be a local, and the value of that variable will die after that value of that variable in this scope will die when this function ends. So just to sum up, there are two type of variables. One is a global variable and another is a local variable. Global variable is created outside any function. It means it is global to everybody. And what is a local variable is created inside any function, be it a main function or be it any other function that you created. Okay, it doesn't matter. You created a function and you use that value, it becomes a local variable. And if you manipulate or do anything with that local variable, it will be referring to that local variable's value, that is 10 at this point. But if something like this was not here and you are just outputting a, then it's gonna refer to this. Okay, it is useful thing, because sometimes you want to create a global variable which can be manipulated for a particular amount of time, and then its value can be changed again. Its values can be retained. For example, if this function add is over here and I do something with a, and when this function ends, the value of a gets to be 20, not whatever. If you manipulate over here, that will be end of when this function ends, and the value of a will be retained. So that's why we use global and local variables. We will talk more about this global and local variables into when we learn about functions. Okay, so just a basic idea what is a local variable and what are the global variables. So that is all about variable scope. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day, and thank you very much.